Hello, everybody. Seeing a lot of feedback coming in through the main Discord and a little bit on the Champs Chat Discord. Not a whole lot as much there, but on the main about how bad this event was. And I don't agree nor disagree. I really liked the concept of the stretch milestone that, got a premium gear that I didn't have to pay for. I just had to grind for. Um, Now, I do realize that everybody's experience is going to be different with that based off of where your roster is. It's, you know, I was missing AJ, so not only did these people have a tour that gave points, but they also had in-feud bonuses as well. And there were a few more that were in-feud bonuses for CSS. So I realized my experience was simpler and more realistic than others, and that a lot of people missed out. My biggest argument here was that it was a stretch milestone, and it was basically them giving a reason to grind more. I don't agree with the fact that they got rid of the box. There used to be a box that was separate from the prize wall itself, and twice recently they've taken it out. It was there for the last Flash feud. It was gone the feud prior to that. Flash feud prior to that. Flash feud prize wall is normally trash, and this wall is. There's a lot of good stuff, but it's so out of price range that it's beyond ridiculous. You see, I am at 28. I am on the leaderboard currently at spot 263, which means that I will get to 30. That puts me short of any goal that I had as far as shard wise. And this is no spend. I haven't spent a dime. But pretty much my goal was either to get the Repo Man gear. I didn't know if that was going to be realistic or not, because the gears are usually, typically, when they do Flash Feud with gears, even if it's a lower tiered gear like Repo Man, they're usually at a spend level. So there is that. If we go down further, I could get the Kofi's World Plate. I think that is a complete waste of even, free shoes. You're just not going to use that plate. You'd be better off getting a 200% strap for Naomi. But if I needed Seth, it would have got me Seth shards. I need Axe. I'm going to be one short of Axe, and I'm probably going to be honest, I'm going to go ahead and spend for that, because to get one shoe... Oh, wait. No, not that one. How far do I got to go? 3 pulls. 3 pulls gets me 2 shoes. That's all I'm spending this weekend, is just to get Axe shards. Axe is one of my long chases, and very good in the game. He did not make my top 10 because I just don't have him to say, but you could see I'm still a good ways off. But is it worth the $4 to get more shards toward him? It's better than doing $100 pull and hoping to pull him. So I feel like that's an inexpensive price to get that, and long term it'll be worth it once I recruit him. Like I said, I have not focused on him at all because my focus has been on Blackman, and before that it was Stephanie Becker. So that is unfortunate, because I feel like he should be right there. We maxed the event, all that. So that should have been obtainable. I think 35 would have been the magic number for the shoes. Anything below that, and this wall becomes a shard wall, which Flash Feud Weekend has been a shard wall for quite some time. This is the one event that it's actually geared toward you getting shards. And the reason you know that is because of these boxes over here. Right? These little boxes. And then same thing with these. Now, they're really low count in those boxes. Oh, wrong one. This one here. This is a resource and shard wall. If you end up extremely lucky, I've seen a couple people that did. Somebody walked away with a Seth. Somebody walked away with a Repo Man gear. But for the most part, you're going to be getting econ and low-level shards. That's pretty much what the Flash Feud Weekend has been. Of course, they put Blackman at a spin level that I think is close to a mega. And I'm sorry, not for shards. I understand his coaching ability, but that's too much. That's way too much for too little of shards. If that were a 400 pack, I could maybe see it, but that's too low of shards at too high of a cost. And unfortunately, it's just made this event disappointing. And had they kept the box with the plate and the shard, the 300 shard thing, I think the community would have been happy because they would have walked away with something. When you walk away with low-level shards, it doesn't feel rewarding at all. It just doesn't. Most people are going to end up with these random straps. High gym damage strap, 100 to 150. Definitely don't get the move damage strap. It is not meta relevant, but that gets you maybe 2 straps. If you got your 22, that is expected free for most of the community. So it is a disappointing wall, which makes it a disappointing event. After playing it, me and Lee were talking about the wall, and that was the first thing he was asking me what I thought about these gears, and I'm like, it doesn't really matter. Look at the cost. I'm at 28 now. Granted, this is at a no spend level, but it costs so much to get up there to those gears. Even these gears, you're spending a ton, over a mega to get that Money in the Bank 2025. I can tell you that, based off of what other people were telling me they were at after doing 1 mega. You're going to be over, or it's going to cost more than that to get that Julia gear. Julia is very good. I put her close to the same level as some of these others, but it's just one of those that a gear should not cost that much. It really shouldn't. When you're having to sit there and collect hype, collect shards, spend loot to pull these people, and then, the gear costing more than the character in some cases. Come on, man. But, without that plate box with the shards, this event is just kind of a bust for, I'm going to say, 90% of the community. There's that 10% of us that maxed. We got the Naomi gear. But once again, it was a stretch milestone. I feel they should have had the regular milestones in there for the rest of the community that's not able to put in, I don't know how many hours we feuded for. I think I did 3 hours per feud times 4. That's 12 hours over a weekend. I know there's so many people that can't even come close to that. They're maybe able to put in an hour per feud, and that's pushing it because, you know, they've got families and jobs. And it's a mobile game. It's not Call of Duty or something like that. But I feel for the community on this one. I encourage you to leave feedback on the portal. I'm sorry, not the portal. I don't think they even do that anymore. It's the main Discord. Just saying, give us our plate box back. You know, if anything, it's you don't have to put anything crazy. Just give us the plate box back, because that's what made Flash Feud worth the effort. Even if you were able to just put in a small amount of time, you left with something. It was something good, even though it was RNG. Chances are the plate was going to be something that was good for your roster. But as far as the wall goes, I'm not surprised by this wall, except for the fact that of how high Blackman shards are, and even Axe. Axe should be, we're a couple months past his MLC, so it's one of those that you should be able to max the event and get his shards without having to spend. Blackman should still be at a spend level, but not a mega. Not even close to a mega. That's just ridiculous. That's going to be my feedback that I provide. And like I said, I would encourage everyone else to provide feedback. There's also a contest that you could win something. I think it might be AJ Styles. I'm not 100% sure. It might be a gear for leaving feedback on the Discord. But it's definitely, our opinions do shift this game, believe it or not. So please put that feedback in.